For many, many years, the Acura MDX has been a staple in the three-row premium SUV utility space. Well, for 2019, this MDX gets a lot sportier with the A-SPEC package. So what do you get with the A-SPEC package? Well, first of all, you get some A-SPEC badging, and you get this exclusive color. You can get it in different colors, but this one is only available on the A-SPEC, and it's the Apex Blue Pearl. I absolutely love this color. As you can tell, I like blue. You get a different front fascia, blacked out grille, and throughout this vehicle, you'll see a lot of use of this kind of brushed black chrome look. Standard LED dual headlights like all the Acura MDXs. Then onto the side, these are exclusive to the A-SPEC, these 20-inch smoked wheels. But what's also different, they're half-inch wider than the regular MDX, so more rubber, more contact, more grip. You'll see all the window surrounds and the trim are all blacked out, black on the bottom as well, and there is a roof rack delete. So this does not come with a roof rack. It gives it a more sleek, sportier look, that's for sure, including the black rear roof spoiler. Then onto the back, you have two very aggressive looking exhaust pipes and rear diffuser. In the back, a power tailgate. It does not have a smart feature where it opens by itself under kicking or just being in proximity though. But I have the car seats in right now, so we are using it as a two-row, but the third row is up right now just to show you. Got the big suitcase, got my camera bag here, and the big suitcase, this big guy fits in there with the third row up. So of course, if we put that third row down, there is a very, very large area. The opening isn't quite square, but it is fairly large and wide to get things in and out of here. Of course, if you're interested in buying an MDX, you're interested in moving people. So what are we missing here? People. Let's go get them. So if you're buying an MDX, usually you have a family because there's no reason to buy a three-row SUV otherwise. So we have the family in here. This is what it's made for. It does need one of those barriers, those limousine shades, so we can block them out. They're eating apple. So what's different? The seats, first of all, as you can see, they are leather on the sides, and the inserts are Alcantara, like suede. And then you get the infotainment center, which is a little bit on the dated side if you compare it to the new RDX. It has the two screens. The one bottom screen actually houses your buttons, let's say on a touch screen, and then the top screen is your navigation and all your other information. Does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I'm sure that they will adopt the new system like the new RDX has, which is a lot easier to use in my opinion, and I think it's just a no-brainer to go to that system. Now, one thing that I've always said, I like nice steering wheels. I like the touch, because this is what you touch the most, and this steering wheel in MDX has this texture to it. And I like it. It feels good. You get a good grip on it. Unlike some, I do like suede steering wheels, let's say, or Alcantara like you have on the AMG product, but they can get a little bit slippery. This is good. In addition, there is some A-SPEC badging on the steering wheel, on the door sill, and you also get some stylish metal sport pedals for your pedals down there. This A-SPEC is not actually the top of the line. It kind of slots in between the technology package and the Elite. So it's pretty well loaded, but there are a few things that it doesn't get. First of all, this stereo system on the Elite is a little bit nicer. You get a couple extra speakers. The Elite also gets full leather interior. This does have a moonroof. It's retractable, but it's not one of the panoramic ones that goes all the way back, which I would prefer. Now, we have a Toyota Highlander, and we have the panel roof that goes all the way back, and it's really nice to let more light in. Now, over the course of the week, we split our driving up, and Cynthia probably actually drove this MDX more than I did. What things stood out for you on this MDX? What did you like about it?
Very first thing I noticed is how light it is to drive compared to the Highlander that we have. And,
yeah. So the steering feel is a lot lighter. It drives like a smaller vehicle than a three-row SUV.
Oh, I totally forgot about it. It's a three-row vehicle.
Yeah. And now this, compared to our Highlander, it's actually longer than our Highlander. The wheelbase is longer, the track is wider, it's a wider vehicle, but it's a little bit lower. And I kind of feel that like when I get in, you don't seem like you ride as high, you know, as in the Highlander that I find. And then in the back seat, I just find that the kids aren't riding up as high because the actual step-in height is a little bit lower. Now, what did you think about like putting the kids in and out? Did you notice anything at all, or just pretty well the same?
It's interesting you said that because every time because Caitlin's still in her regular car seat,
Yeah.
and then every time put her on that seat, she could, you know, she bumps her head on the top of the roof because, you know, it's just a height difference that she's used to have the Highlander height.
Yeah, so I think the rear seat room in the Highlander is better. It definitely feels like it has more room, even though these seats do go backward and forward. Even at the furthest point back, I think the Highlander still has it beat in terms of leg room and maybe in height, like you mentioned. But that third row, what I do like about it is it does have a one-touch, like an easy button. You hit that button and the back flips and this whole seat just goes forward, and it makes it easy to get into the third row. And that third row is bigger than our Highlander for sure. Our Highlander third row is so tiny. This is actually not too bad. It's not something that I'd want to sit in for a long time, but you know, it is livable. Now in our household, believe it or not, I do most of the grocery shopping. And so I don't think Cynthia even knows about the back at all. I went to Costco, I've been to the grocery store. There's a lot of room. I showed you how much room you could get there with that suitcase, but even with the third row up, there's a fair amount of room. And what I like is there's this little cubby area. There's a flap that opens up, and it's a great little area to put your groceries in so they don't fly around, and it's covered. So if you have some valuables, you can actually put that in there. It's kind of like hidden under there. And yeah, so I do like that. I hate having things flying all around. That one definitely takes care of that. So what other things did you notice about it?
There's one thing really, really handy for me with them is that they like, when they ride in the car, they like to listen to their own music.
Yeah.
And so we have those CDs that cater for them, and then it's really, really happy that I noticed this one actually has a CD player.
Yeah,
it makes all of us happy.
It's a small thing, but it is a big thing. Nowadays, there are less and less vehicles that have CD players. And the thing is, they're just easy to use. Yes, of course, you could bring that CD into your computer. First of all, a lot of computers don't even have a CD drive anymore. No. You know, so how do you get, you know, these kids' CDs into your phone, let's say, to play on a system that doesn't have a CD player? Yeah, it's kind of a hassle. So yeah, it's a small little thing, but the CD player does make a difference. Also, one thing that I did notice, I wish that this did have, is it does not have a surround camera. Now, if you go up into the Elite, that does come with a surround camera, but this A-SPEC does not. And that is something that we don't have that on the Highlander because our Highlander is a little bit older, but the new Highlanders do have that. And once you drive a vehicle with that, you do get used to it. Mm-hmm. So anything else you noticed?
There's one thing, it's something that I need to get used to. It's about the gear shift. And then, because you know the Highlander has a regular gear shift, and this one it took me a little while to get used to, but once you're used to it, then it works.
Yeah, you know, the push button gear selector, I've driven a lot of vehicles with this, and I'm used to it, but that still doesn't mean I like it. I am not a fan of this push button thing. I'd rather even have like a dial, like on a Ram truck where they have a dial for the transmission selector out of the way. I don't know. It's just maybe just overthinking it, I think. Yeah, it does save a little bit of room. Maybe, I'm not even sure.
Another thing for me, also something I need to get used to, is the backup camera, because they got those fish eye.
Oh
camera. Yeah. So at the first couple of days, every time I back into a spot, I'm like half crooked, basically. But yeah, just something you need to get used to.
So it's a little bit wider. It's a little bit too wide.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the meat of the MDX. What's powering it is a 3.5 liter V6, puts out 290 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque, and that's to a 9-speed automatic transmission. The shifts are very smooth with all those different gears. You're always in the right mode. It does have a dynamic mode button. Okay, so you can go comfort, normal, and sport. Let's put it into sport. Now, definitely much more responsive once you put it into sport. It changes the steering as well, but one thing it does not change is the suspension, and that is one other thing that you can get with the Elite. When you actually get the Elite package as opposed to the A-SPEC, the Elite comes with adaptive suspension. So if driving dynamics are important to you, you might want to look into the Elite, well, just for like ride comfort even. And but yeah, I find the suspension is fairly compliant. It's not too rough. What do you think? We're going over a pretty bumpy road right now, but how do you compare this ride over the Highlander?
It is smooth, and it's actually really quiet.
Yeah, suspension's quiet. This is a good platform. There's no doubt about it. This MDX is way more dynamic to drive than the Highlander. Okay, this is a way sportier vehicle than the Highlander. You have bigger tires, bigger wheels, everything about it. It's lower, so lower center of gravity, the wider track, the longer wheelbase. It's all adds up for a better ride and better experience, hands down. One thing the Highlander does beat out, well, that it's our Highlander because it is a hybrid, is fuel economy. We average 10.5 liters per 100K on the Highlander. This one is averaging, after a week of driving, 14 liters per 100K. It's still not bad for a 3-row SUV, but the unfortunate thing for this vehicle, it uses premium fuel. And with the gas prices nowadays here, every liter per 100K you can save is more money in your pocket, that's for sure. The MDX has always been a solid performer for Acura, and with this new A-SPEC, you get all the goodness of the regular MDX, plus you get more style. That's it from us. See you later. Bye now.
Ciao.
Ciao. MDX in car.
MDX in car.
Take one.
Take one.
If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.